My boyfriend of 2 years broke up with me and cheated on me with our 22F roommate. I'm just looking for advice to cope. Let me start by saying I never thought this would happen to me. I was in a very happy relationship with my boyfriend. We recently got an apartment together with a previous shared co-worker. I moved jobs. Our only issues in our relationship was we got into the occasional argument about something dumb and also argued about intimacy levels as he was more active about it than I. Setting up the apartment on move-in week I was mostly concentrated on that. He was hanging out with our mutual co-worker roommate. Later we did have a larger argument about a week into after getting the keys. He was mad that I was neglecting him it seemed, but in reality I was backing off and just setting up the space because I needed to. The place just did not feel like home to me yet. I told him to just let us set up the space and everything will be okay. He expressed to me that the way I was acting neglecting him made him not want to be intimate with me. He then said if I would tell him what was bothering me that he would feel better. I apologized and I finally did open up that I felt neglected too and that I felt like him and her hanging out was very suspicious to me, and I asked if he had feelings for her. He got upset again and was mad that I would even suggest such a thing and that he has been cheated on before and would never do that. I accepted this and apologized again. He accepted it. For the rest of the night we did play some games together and felt better and the mood came up. He did still look sad before bed and did truly want to make him feel better with him that night. The next day I thought everything was normal. I felt like we got it or expressed our feelings and I felt really excited that there was a spark that made me want to be intimate a lot again. We had a friend who was in a toxic relationship move into our old apartment and things were doing okay I thought, even though it was an emotional night getting her out. We came back home and he looked sad. I thought he was still just upset for our friend, but he takes me into the bedroom. I get excited thinking again and instead he breaks up with me. He says he fell out of love with me and is spent. I ask him if we can repair our relationship, since we have other values that align really well, and ask him about the issues we have been having. He refuses. I am heartbroken and confused. He calls our relationship the best girlfriend he has ever had and does ask me to still be friends at least. I agree because our lives are so intertwined anyway, but I also ask him to keep an open mind and let's have some space. I was still very heartbroken and it seems like if we truly loved each other the things that needed fixing could be. The next morning, he slept on the couch, although in the middle of the night checked on me and hugged and kissed my forehead the way he used to when we were together. I was very confused, but at that moment just happened for the comfort. I couldn't take it though, and that night I went away to a mutual friend's place to stay for the weekend. On Monday I came back and we tried the friends thing and were laughing and joking again. Although he had some strange boundaries, as multiple times he would hug me and kiss the top of my forehead. We went back over to our old apartment where our friend was staying. She had invited our roommate over and then our roommate invited my boyfriend. I then asked if I could come. She said yes, but looked visibly pissed the whole night I was there. The next day I want to do something nice. I got ingredients at the store to make soup. I get out of work earlier than them, but my time in the grocery store was pretty long. I call him twice to let him know I'll be late on making dinner for all of us. They don't answer. I start driving home. They finally answer. I tell them I'll be late. They say okay, no worries. I get home though and they still aren't there. It could have been traffic etc, so I wait about 15 minutes and call again. We also still had each other's locations just to make sure we were safe, so I checked his. He was way far down on some random road past our apartment. I call. They pick up. I ask where they are. They say he just went on a joyride. He doesn't do this, he never even did this with me. I go, oh, so you joyride now? He says that yes, he did that with me. I was like, yeah, maybe once. Then it hits me and I can't take it anymore. I say that's really suspicious and I accuse them of doing something. He keeps denying it, but I keep pushing. He says they are 5 minutes away and they will talk when I get home. He comes in, she goes straight to her room and hides. Basically I have to pull it out of him, but he finally admits that he has feelings for her. This is 3 days after our breakup. I am shattered. I see her leave but don't try and stop her. I ask him when it started and he says the move. I get really heated and eventually the words "What, are you dating her?" leaves my mouth and he says yes. This entire time he keeps apologizing. What kind of man thinks that he can break up with his girlfriend and then date his roommate 3 days later and still wants to keep his ex-girlfriend as his friend? I ran. I went to another friend's place. I told all our friends. They are all in shock and do not really know how to react. I told his sister. Everyone is angry and upset with him, and I believe that is deserved. I've been here ever since, still trying to process everything. He says he will move out with her, which I think is so messed up, but he will still pay rent. They are all going to the old apartment with our friend, still a 2-bedroom. I only asked for joint custody of our dog. He agreed. Yesterday I texted him a lot of very choice words, and he kept telling me I was right and that I have a right to be angry. I finally sent him a message that I think he needs to go to therapy. I don't know what even happened here, but a new girl isn't going to solve whatever issues he had. If he even wants a chance with her, he needs to work on himself. I told him that this was such high school and I'm disappointed in him. I told him I really don't want this happening to the next person he dates. Most of our shared friends have already wrote him off. I just feel so alone still though, even though I do have friends as support. I lost the guy I thought was the one, and I don't know if I can ever recover. I want to think there may be a chance for us if he ever does get help way in the future, but I don't know. I don't want to get back together with him unless he changes though, but also why did he even want to be friends with me still? Also, will their relationship even last? Does anyone have any help or advice? It would be greatly appreciated. Comment. It's time to cut your losses. His behavior is not okay and so telling. Allow yourself to feel all the grief and move on. This is not the man you want to be with. He was not honest, he gaslit you, and you deserve better. Cut him out and her tell everyone else to as well, or to at least make sure he not around when you are. I wouldn't even wait till he sorts himself. They was up to no good while he was with you, she's scummy and so is he. Make them both leave. Text him, be like, I'm going full no contact with you. When you wake up and realize what a mess you made of things, I won't be there. There will never be friendship between us now ever. You're both scummy people and deserve whatever karma is coming your way. Do not contact me again, and if and when you want to see dog, you'll drop to friend's house. If I never see you again, it will be too soon. Then block. It's possible he'll regret it when she leaves him. Something similar but not exactly the same happened to me, except she was 20 and we were 28. He was calm even though he said he was sorry about it, because he was getting what he wanted, someone who gave him those butterfly feelings rather than a stable, loving relationship. Maybe it's the same for your ex. She left him, cheated on him just like she cheated with him on me, lol, eventually. Sometimes, people are idiots and don't make the best long-term decisions. I completely understand feeling baffled why someone would do that. Ultimately, I don't know if it's helpful to try to understand why he did it, because you can never really know unless he tells you, and even then, he can lie, obviously, lol. It could be that he's been unhappy in your relationship for a while, and didn't know how to break up with you without a reason. So he could have done this as a weird, roundabout way of getting you to break up with him. He also sounds incredibly selfish, just like my ex. No thought to how his actions might affect others, there's only what he wants. Next story 2. Fiancé openly admits not being excited about wedding or honeymoon, which she mainly planned, and blames me for either not being what she wanted. Basically the title. We were engaged on January of this year. We don't have enough money to pay for a typical big and fancy wedding, which she openly wanted, so many months ago she told me that we should have a very small wedding of about 20 to 30 people and go to Disney World for our honeymoon. I know she is extremely indecisive, so I told her to think it over for a couple of days just so she would be sure, after which she told me she was sure. Now, for the honeymoon, originally she wanted my stepson to come with us to the honeymoon, but when I told my dad about our plans, he, respectfully and only to me, gave his opinion and told me he recommended for only my fiancé and I to go, without our stepson. When I told her this, she got extremely mad and it was a huge fight, but later we talked about it and she ultimately agreed that we should go to our honeymoon alone. A few days later she asked me if we could buy the plane tickets for the honeymoon that day because they were on discount at a very good price. I agreed and bought the plane tickets, hotel, and park tickets for Disney. Overall, she has been extremely unstable about everything wedding related after that. Plans have changed constantly, because of her, between a very small and medium wedding, neither how she would actually want. She is constantly saying that she is going to have a wedding and that she has resigned to having the wedding she wanted. Now today I asked her if she was excited for our honeymoon and she upfront said no. She says she would have preferred going to the beach for the honeymoon and that the original plan was to take my stepson with us, but I think this is extremely unfair because, 1, Disney was her idea, and 2, we talked about going alone and she agreed. I'm really starting to get tired of her being so indecisive about the wedding and blaming me for not having the wedding she wanted. It's also starting to make me sad. How am I supposed to feel when my fiancé just up front tells me constantly that she is not excited for neither the trip or the wedding? Comment. Agree. When I was in my early 20s, I stopped talking to a friend I'd known since I was 11 because I just didn't have the energy to agree with everything she said anymore. BTW, I tried to come up with logical arguments occasionally, but it never ended well. I still remember that time, but I am so glad I don't have to worry about what stuff she's going to come out with anymore. It's never worth the toll on your mental health to entertain crazy, if you can help it. No one is right all the time. That's pretty scary. If I were in your situation, I'd be thinking seriously about canceling or at least delaying the wedding. Going through with it at this point probably means committing to deal with similar issues long term, and that doesn't sound like fun. Sure, but if everyone is gonna tell you this relationship is toxic and you should postpone the wedding, leave, etc. every time you post and you never listen, then why even keep posting? At that point you don't even really want advice. No one's gonna give him a different answer on his next post. Go back and read your post history. She has been treating you like garbage and taking advantage of you since the beginning. I would honestly just cancel the wedding at this point. You have been upset about her constantly fighting with you over nonsense for years, and she has clearly made a habit of using you financially. Just walk away now while you can. You keep saying your stepson. Is he her son from a previous relationship? How am I supposed to feel when my fiancé just up front tells me constantly that she is not excited for neither the trip or the wedding? I think her lack of enthusiasm is poison and contagious. I would not only be canceling the wedding, I'd be having a hard conversation with myself about what I truly want in life. There are a lot of single moms that would be thrilled to have a man step up and act as a father figure and consider taking the kid on a honeymoon. Lots of single moms don't care about how things look on Instagram and instead are looking for a man with heart. You sound like you have a big heart, but I think you may need to work on your spine. If your response to her audacity isn't to automatically walk away, I'd want to know for myself why. I'd be curious to hear her side, only because in every one of your examples you did push back and ask to do something different than she suggested. My partner does this a lot, and I've since sworn off any and all vacation planning because I never get to make meaningful plans without them changing everything. We've had many conversations about it. They even suggested I plan one vacation top to bottom and they'll be happy to come with and do whatever I wanted. So I suggested a week in Vegas, see a couple shows, go to a couple famous eateries, and a whole lot of hanging out by the pool. Nope, they complained and pushed back until we were making last-minute reservations for Yellowstone, with like 30 things on the itinerary and 3 hotel changes. I agreed because it's a bucket list destination, but damn, in 15 years together, he's never actually let me plan the vacation I wanted. Not saying this is what's happening in your case, op. Might be wildly different than the few lines of text you wrote here, but that's where my mind went reading it. I've also got to say you were fine with bringing the kid initially, but then stopped it because your dad didn't like the plan. He's not going on your honeymoon. Why the hell did you take his opinion into account over your fiancé? This part really stinks to me. She likely was looking at this as symbolically solidifying the new atomic family you are supposed to be creating, possibly even to help the kid not feel like they were being left behind for mom's new family. My dad did something similar, having an entire destination wedding that he decided to tell me last minute he wasn't actually going to take me to after initially saying I could go. I resented him so much for that, so I didn't see the point in even telling him I was getting married until after it was done. I honestly don't know what else Reddit could tell you, as you have been posting about this fiancé of yours for years and have followed no advice. It's clear your relationship isn't getting better and marrying her will only make you legally solicited to this BS you're going through. Don't go through with the wedding if you are this unhappy. Why would you want to settle your roots on this? This can go one of two ways. One, you actually marry this girl and you continue life with indecisiveness on a life goal for both you, and you will grow to resent your choice and a costly divorce, and chances are either you or her will start to look for a way out. 2, you grow a backbone and put your foot down or walk away. You are not married yet and it is way cheaper to walk away now than it would be to pay for a lawyer and settle in court. In the end it's really up to you, but the fact you keep posting for advice and ignoring it makes you the asshole. You're not only wasting your time with her but her time.